Here's how we spent 8 days in Iceland in October of 2024. Apologies in advance for the bad pronunciation of these Icelandic places. Starting from the Keflavik airport in the west, we drove our rental along the southern part of the island to get as far west as possible the first day. Stop 1 was the amazing Seljalandsfoss. The water falls from 197 feet, and you're even able to walk behind it. Being careful along the way since the temperature was right about at freezing and there were some icy spots. A short walk along the cliffside, you arrive at the smaller Gljufrabui waterfall, which is nestled in a little gorge and is one of the most unique waterfalls we've had the pleasure of seeing. A little over 20 minutes down the road was Skogafoss. The mist from the water and the sun breaking through the clouds made for a beautiful rainbow. Stop number 3 was the city of Vik, where we ate some delicious soup at the soup company, which just happens to share the building with the incredible lava show, where they make their own lava and explain much of Iceland's geothermal activity. Highly recommended. After that, we made our way to our accommodations for the evening. After a little nap, we drove just a few minutes down the road and watched the northern lights fill the entire sky. We drove as far as we could on day 1 because we needed to be at the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon on time for our kayaking appointment, and it was the last day of the year that they offered it. Unfortunately, the lagoon was a little rough and we were unable to do the kayaking. But we did enjoy Diamond Beach for a few minutes, which is right on the other side of the street from the lagoon. Continued our westward drive to the city of Höfn, where we ate a delicious lunch at Pakhaus restaurant. Then we continued onwards towards Stokksnes to see the amazing mountain range that butts up against the ocean. There's also a replica Viking Village that was built for a movie that was never made, but it has since been used in some other productions. From there, we continued up the rugged eastern coast of the island toward our accommodation for the night, very close to our 2 hikes we had planned for day 3. First hike was to Stulagil Canyon, a basalt column gem in the midst of some sheep pastures. Hike 2 was to Hengifoss, a 420-foot waterfall framed by striking red stripes of clay around the sides of the cliff. This was probably my favorite hike because the setting was just so stunning there. We then retraced our drive through the stunning eastern side of the island.
Appalachian sunrise meets my...
This was our longest drive of the entire trip, but we were rewarded at the end by another mesmerizing display of the northern lights right at our cabin.
I'll follow only golden, golden things. Mount Laurel High Five.
Day 4 began with us enjoying a beautiful sunrise right from our cabin.
Rainbow trout and hummingbird wing.
We made a quick pit stop at the Glacier Lagoon since we were passing right by, and we're glad we did. The icebergs had now floated a little closer to the shore, and we even got to see some seals swimming in the water.
Gold hair.
We met up with local guides Iceland, got fitted in our safety gear and crampons, and headed to our first activity of the day, trekking onto a glacier and through a real ice cave carved out by meltwater. Then we hiked around the glacier. You can see more video from this day by clicking on the video link on your screen. Then we drove a couple more hours to hike at the Stulagil Canyon to see its picturesque waterfalls. We didn't make it all the way to the end of this hike. We were both feeling just too tired and not at 100%. So we drove back to Vik and ate at the absolutely delicious Black Crust Pizzeria. The garlic bread here was probably one of the best things I've ever eaten. After a good night's rest, we went out to watch the sunrise at Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach, which is known for its sneaker waves that will come in unexpectedly and even at times carry people off into the cold ocean. So you have to be on alert here. But the sunrise was amazing. The next drive took us up to the most popular part of Iceland, the Golden Circle, where we first saw the powerful Jökulsárlón waterfall. And then on the way to the next stop, we stopped to feed some Icelandic horses. One actually even bit Jessica on the finger. Then we went to Glacier and enjoyed it erupting 3 or 4 times. After some lunch, we headed to our next stop, Carrad Crater, which is a volcanic crater lake. We walked around the perimeter and down into the caldera. Next, we had a rye bread experience. Here, they bake rye bread in the earth, using geothermal energy to do the baking. After watching our guide dig out the bread, we went back inside and sampled the recently unearthed loaf.
We love rye bread. It's good. Do you love rye bread? Do you like this bread? Cutscene. Cutscene. Have you had smoked trout?
That's pretty good.
Our last stop on the way to Reykjavik was stopping at a viewpoint where you see the European and American tectonic plates separating, which is what causes most of the volcanic activity in Iceland. On day 6, we joined a tour that took us on a short hike through a snow-covered lava field, up to the top of a volcano, and finally, using a modified window washing lift, you go down into the belly of a dormant volcano, the only place like it on Earth.
Now the wheels on the lift are rolling down the wall, that's why we're shaking around a little bit. The red color in the rock is because it's rich with iron, and the layered pattern around us is from when the lava was shooting out and then landing around the rim of the crater. That is happening again and again and again during the eruption and slowly stacking up the hill as the eruption went on. This is where the magma was melting out the rock, squeezing its way through, pushing its way to the surface.
One star, no cell service. After you're brought back to the surface, you go to the base camp where they feed you some delicious Icelandic lamb stew. And if you're fortunate like us, you get to see the white Arctic foxes that live there. Definitely one of the best experiences we've had. After that thrilling experience, we spent the rest of the evening walking around the capital city of Reykjavik, including visiting its famous hot dog stand for our first Icelandic-style hot dog. All right, first Icelandic hot dog.
That is better than a regular hot dog. Still a hot dog. That's pretty good. Give it a try.
I'm gonna preface this with I don't like hot dogs. So I'm trying this just because I'm in Iceland.
American politician.
That's pretty
You just
good,
got it with
actually.
everything.
I approve of
It's
this.
not bad.
Yeah, for a hot dog, it's great.
Yeah.
Then we went to Cafe Loki and partook in another famous Icelandic treat, rye bread ice cream.
The first night. That's hard. Well, I like rye bread, and I just figured that out on this trip. And I also like rye bread ice cream. What? I didn't do it. You had it. You ate it.
On day 7, we again left our hotel in Reykjavik to hike the Reykjadulur Hot Spring River. Here you hike through a very active geothermal area through the hills to get to a section where some boardwalks and changing stations have been set up so you actually get into the stream and enjoy its warm water. I wouldn't call it hot, but it was warm enough to be enjoyable for a few minutes, even though it was cold outside. Back in Reykjavik, we went to a science museum where they have an indoor ice cave and a pretty great view of the Reykjavik area. Our last day in Iceland we spent at the famous Blue Lagoon. Is it touristy? Yeah, sure. But we really enjoyed it, more than we even thought we would. A few hours later, we were flying home, so thankful of all we got to see and do in Iceland.